everybody. Welcome to Celestial You. Today we are going to talk about a heavy subject, disappointment. So, disappointment is a topic that I think is timely. We need to talk about disappointment because when we have Saturn in Aries, there are a lot of people right now struggling with their passion, their alignment to self, and basically they're having a very difficult time reckoning with how their life is, how they feel about their own lives, and how they feel about their identity and the way things are going in their life. And so disappointment is really a journey that you have to make, I think, with the Creator, because the Creator has a plan for you. But when that plan requires hardship, or that plan does not go according to what you want, and you perceive things as failures, that's when you can fall prey to disappointment. Processing disappointment means you have to deeply show compassion to yourself to understand what it is that you wanted, and to understand that it's not wrong to want things to happen. And really what we're dealing with a lot of times when we're dealing with disappointment is we're dealing with delays, actually. So you might be experiencing delays right now because when Saturn is in Aries, Aries is like that go energy, that get up and go, that like change energy. When Saturn is there are practical reasons why you can't get to where you're going. Maybe it's because your destiny requires someone else to get their act together. Maybe it's because there are other pieces that need to fall into place before your destiny can arrive. So you might be feeling delayed or unfulfilled in this energy. And that is a discussion that you have to have with the Creator. But the first thing you have to do is acknowledge that it is okay to feel disappointed at times, especially if you've been working really hard at things and there doesn't seem to be progress happening. A lot of times that's because we as humans want things to happen right away. We want to see a linear trajectory, a linear curve of things getting better and better. And if we don't see that, we think that we're failing. And there's a lot of judgment right now because of that. And by contrast, the Creator is working on a more global big picture scale. So the Creator is placing people into your life in strategic positions at strategic times to create the environment for you to become fulfilled. So if those elements of fulfillment are out of grasp and you're struggling with that feeling, that devastating feeling of delay, that your life's on hold, that you feel stuck, that needs to be felt. It needs to be loved. Especially if you're looking around, there's quite a bit of envy or jealousy as well, which we can make a separate video about. But it's looking around to other people and realizing I'm not on the same life plan as these other people. I have a different life plan entirely. I'm not quite comfortable with where I'm going because I can't quite see what's happening. Right now in the collective, it's very hard to see the future. Individually, we can know and we can plan together. We can plan around the energies that are happening. But sometimes we don't know the how. And that requires a lot of patience. Often when you're disappointed, that means you have to go through a process of forgiving the things that have gone poorly in the past. So that act of sitting with those things and breaking the cycle of saying, just because this turned out badly this time doesn't mean it's going to continue to be bad in the future. That's not the way it works. It doesn't work to create perpetual loops, right? This is where we have to break our own loops. So you break the loop of thinking that just because something went poorly in the past, that doesn't mean it's going to happen poorly in the future. So on the feel to release chart, we have, what is the holistic benefit of processing your disappointment, right? There are holistic benefits to processing your negative emotions. And one holistic benefit of sitting with that disappointment, reckoning with the disappointment, and correcting your belief system is that you can actually be optimistic. Now, why is it evolutionarily beneficial to be optimistic? It's because optimism is the mechanism for you to draw in the best outcomes and the most fulfilling timeline, right? And so really disappointment is about working with the creator to release all of these barriers and perceptions of your life that might be negative so that you can come into optimism, come into faith. So it requires a lot of work on your part to have faith that things will work out, especially if in the short term they haven't worked out for you, or in the past they haven't worked out for you. Now, if we don't process our disappointment, we may end up in pessimism, cynicism. And all you have to do right now is go online and look at the comments, and you're going to see a ton of pessimism. The reason why is because when Saturn, the planet of restriction, of toxicity, sometimes the planet of karma, it's a karmic planet, rests on the things you're passionate about in Aries. It rests in the direction you want to go. It rests in your aligned inspiration. If there's that block right there that you're experiencing, for some who are not processing their disappointment, they will come off as cynical or pessimistic. They'll say things like, we'll never get the justice we need, right? And that is that cynicism, right? And if we stay in that pessimism, that emotional block, because we're not processing our own disappointments, we are going to weigh down the collective. And those higher timelines that might be available are not going to emerge for you if you cannot leave space for them, if you cannot open the door, the possibility that things will work out better than you thought they would. And here's where that sort of Abraham Hicks optimism is necessary. It's necessary for us to say that things are going to work out better than I even thought they would. I'm going to be so fulfilled. And why do we say these things? It's because when we do that, we open ourselves up to receive. When we're pessimistic, when we're wallowing in our disappointment instead of processing it, we can't allow for that abundance to come into our lives because we don't have an open heart. So when you look at these people in the comments online or even within your own life or your own, and they're good people, you know, some of these people are just having a hard time. It's just recognizing that pessimism and offering them a different outcome, a better outcome, one with faith. So it takes courage to have faith, right? Especially if you've just been disappointed routinely over and over again. Now, if we don't process our emotional block of pessimism, right? If we don't process these disappointments and we become pessimistic, what happens? It creates so much restriction in your life that you essentially become indecisive. You can't make decisions anymore because you think it's futile. Like you come into nihilism, right? Why do we even have to talk about this? It's because right now that is a prevalent timeline, is people becoming nihilistic, people losing their faith in humanity. And so I would challenge you to say, let and release that. Let that go so that you can come in to optimism and faith and release yourself, surrender those disappointments, surrender the things that didn't go according to plan in the past so that you can excel in the future. It's a very vulnerable process. It takes so much more courage and vulnerability to stand in faith and optimism than it does to be cynical and pessimistic. Think about it like this. To be pessimistic is to also live in cowardice. Would you want to be a coward? Nobody does. It's so easy to blink and to allow the matrix to control you and to show you that you can't get ahead in life. It's so easy to let that energy get the best of you, because right now it's very tricky. You can have one bad thing happen and then you can catastrophize and get super disappointed. Why is that? That's because there's so much energetic challenge in the awakening right now that you can get really off center very quickly. Okay, you can go down the bad path very quickly. So what I'll say to that is, don't give in to the matrix. Don't give in to the disappointment and don't give in to your pessimism, okay? Because that is part of the false matrix, the false light grid. That is what's making you do that. There's nothing inherently truthful about it, but you can trick yourself into thinking it's truth, right? And it happens very quickly. So if you find yourself slipping, go to my YouTube and do a dissolve the matrix meditation and bring yourself out of that. That's as quick as it's 12 minutes. You can get out of it. If you're getting mired in your own woe is me, victim mentality, I'm so disappointed with my life, that can happen, right? It can happen to anybody. Bad stuff happens. And then we, as humans, slip into that matrix thinking. Don't persist in it. Go and lift that off of you. Let the Creator lift that off of you by surrendering that as quickly as possible, as quickly as you recognize that it's happening, because it's tricky sometimes. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm actually thinking about these things because I'm working on them, but that's actually not true. You can't work on things out of pessimism or disappointment. That's not how you work on your life. It's a trick. It's a mental trick that's happening in the matrix.